Engine braking versus clutch in. What actually saves you? You're riding along, minding your own business, when a car suddenly dives across your lane for a last-second turn. You've got 1, maybe 2 seconds. Rider A rolls off the throttle, squeezes the front brake hard but smooth, adds a bit of rear, and pulls the clutch in only as the bike is really slowing down. The forks dive, the front tire bites into the road, and the bike stops with a few centimeters to spare. Rider B reacts differently. They snap the throttle shut, stomp down a couple of gears, dump the clutch, then grab a handful of front brake. The rear wheel locks, steps sideways, and the bike tries to swap ends right when they need it most. Same situation, very different ending. Both riders think they did the right thing. One trusted proper braking, the other trusted engine braking. So in a real emergency, which one actually saves you? To find out, we have to look at what truly stops a motorcycle, not what sounds clever in a comment section. In a panic stop, the engine is not the star. The real heroes are your tires and your brakes. When you squeeze the front brake, weight shifts forward. The front tire is pressed harder into the road and the contact patch grows. That extra grip is what gives you serious stopping power. On most bikes, the front brake does most of the work in an emergency. Engine braking, by comparison, is small. It's useful for rolling off into a corner or slowing on a hill, but it can't match the controlled maximum deceleration your brakes can give you. If engine braking alone were enough, racers would just roll off the throttle at the end of a straight. They don't. They squeeze the brakes right up to the edge of traction. So if the brakes matter this much, where does that leave the clutch decision everyone argues about? A lot of riders coast with the clutch pulled in because it feels relaxed. The bike gets quiet, it rolls freely, and it feels like you have time to think. But the moment you pull that lever, you disconnect the engine from the rear wheel. There's no gentle drag from the engine and no instant throttle if you need to adjust. The bike can feel light and vague at exactly the moment you want it planted. In a panic, that habit shows up fast. You see danger, clutch goes in, and now all the weight transfer comes from your braking alone. If your inputs are jerky, the bike can pitch forward, the rear gets very light, and it's easier to lock the back or feel it wiggle. Plus, if you spend most of your time coasting with the clutch in, you never really learn to use gears and engine braking as part of speed control. Your panic move becomes grab everything and hope. And that panic move often leads riders straight into the opposite extreme. Engine braking is great when you're calm. Roll off the throttle in gear and the bike slows smoothly. Downshifting before a corner puts you in the right gear to drive out cleanly. But in a real oh no moment, panic and precision rarely show up together. A scared rider will slam down 2 or 3 gears, barely think about revs, and then let the clutch out quickly. Now the engine is trying to spin much faster than the rear wheel wants to. The rear tire can chirp, lock, or slide, all while you're also trying to steer and grab front brake. That's how you get those ugly sideways wiggles that end with the bike on its side. So if coasting with the clutch in disconnects you, and abusing engine braking can overload the rear, what actually works when something appears in your lane? This is where proper emergency braking comes in. When danger appears ahead, the priority is simple. Stop as fast and straight as you can without losing traction. The sequence looks like this. Roll off the throttle, squeeze the front brake firmly and progressively, then add smooth rear brake if you can manage it without locking. As the bike slows and the revs drop toward idle, you pull the clutch in so it doesn't stall or jerk. Brakes first, clutch second. Keeping the clutch engaged for that first part lets a bit of engine braking help settle the bike and keeps the rear wheel connected. Then, as speed falls and the engine is about to lug, you use the clutch to keep it from stalling. The clutch becomes a tool to manage the engine, not a panic button you tap the instant something looks scary. That straight line logic is simple enough, but everything feels different once you're leaned over. Corner emergencies play by slightly different rules. When you're leaned, your tires are already using a big slice of their grip just to turn, so you have less traction budget left for braking. If you suddenly chop the throttle mid-corner, engine braking can tighten your line more than you expected. Grabbing a big handful of front brake while leaned can overload the front tire. An aggressive downshift with a quick clutch release can lock the rear while you're still leaned. So what do you do if something appears mid-corner? You stay in gear, roll off the throttle smoothly, and gently start to add front brake while you work the bike more upright. As the bike stands up and you get closer to vertical, you can squeeze the brakes harder, then use the clutch as needed when the revs drop. In that situation, light engine braking can actually help, but it still doesn't replace good brake control. Once you understand the difference between upright and corner emergencies, the next step is making this automatic. You don't need to remember every detail while you ride. You just need a few simple rules and some practice so your hands do the right thing before your brain finishes panicking. In normal riding, use engine braking as your first layer of speed control. Roll off the throttle early, downshift smoothly. Stay in gear so the bike always feels connected and ready. In a straight line emergency, trust your brakes. Roll off, squeeze the front brake hard but progressively, add rear brake if you can use it without locking, and then pull the clutch in as the bike really slows. In a corner emergency, stay calm, roll off gently, use light braking while you straighten the bike, then brake harder once you're more upright. What you want to avoid are the two big extremes: coasting everywhere with the clutch pulled in, or machine gunning downshifts and dumping the clutch in a panic hoping engine braking will save you. Both of those habits show up under stress, and both can turn a close call into a crash. You can train the right pattern in a quiet parking lot. Pick a moderate speed, stay in gear, roll off the throttle, and practice squeezing the front brake progressively until you feel the fork dive and the bike really slow. As it almost stops and the revs drop, add the clutch so it doesn't stall. Once that feels natural, the engine braking versus clutch debate starts to look very different. So, which one actually saves you in real emergencies? Engine braking or pulling the clutch in? The honest answer is neither on its own. Your braking skill saves you. Your feel for traction saves you. Your ability to stay connected to the bike instead of grabbing random levers saves you. Engine braking and the clutch are just tools you use to support that. But in those 1 or 2 seconds where everything hangs in balance, the work is being done at the contact patch where rubber meets the road. Get that part right, and both engine braking and the clutch become teammates that make the stop cleaner and more stable. Get it wrong, and no argument about always use engine braking or always pull the clutch will change what happens when it's just you, the bike, and physics making the final call.